So now I'm joined by Ijang Misao, social activist from Manipur, and I'm also being joined by Group Captain B. Nandkumar Sharma, and I'll also be joined by Lieutenant General Shaukin Chauhan. He's not with me now, but straight away I'll go to Mr. Misao. A sort of a big press conference was held, Mr. Misao, in Delhi, a big one. But then it's a fait accompli, sir. It's happening anyhow.
Yes, Kartiki, I think the Kuki Student Organization concerning about the safety and the kind of calmness that prevails now in Manipur is also concerned about the further escalation of violence, for which they were saying Assam Rifle is the right force which needs to main the buffer zone. Now I'm going to tell you why is the Meitei so strong in demanding for the removal of Assam Rifle. It has some history because Assam Rifle, they clearly said they act without fear and favor. And this force is one of the renowned forces, track records in its counterinsurgency. And they always act without fear and favor, for which this force cannot be manipulated. This force cannot be just directed by some vested interest. And you have seen in most of the visual where the state use its forces, its armory, where the Assam Rifle stood strong, saying that you cannot use all these state forces against a particular community. You need to be neutral. For doing that, I think the Assam and the Meiteis are not happy with that at all. At the same time, the Assam Rifle are the one who invited the editor Gear of India to make a fact report from the ground, for which the editor Gear of India make a fact report saying that there is bias in the state media by the way how they are reporting the facts from the ground. And I would tell you, uh, if this Assam Rifle is replaced, I think it is going to be a tactical blunder, which leads to compromising the internal security. Because dealing Assam Rifle is not dealing with the present conflicts. What is concerning is also the
Other guests. Okay, you made
cessationists.
Misa. You
The
made the point.
cessationists.
Misa, you made the point.
Yeah.
Bijesh, it's a done deal. I mean to say, is there any relevance of any sort of a public demonstration and protest when this is happening? You know,
No,
the deployment is taking place.
the deployment is taking place. It's a done deal, but it can't stop people from voicing their protest, and that is exactly what the Kuki community is doing. I think this particular decision, which has been taken by MHA, puts a big question mark on the credibility of Assam Rifles. Especially those two battalions. And I am personally of the opinion that like Caesar's wife should be above suspicion. If those two battalions were under some sort of suspicion, did the MHA or any other branch of MHA took action against them? Were there because it needs to be investigated, that was there enough merit in the allegations which were leveled by Meitei groups that these two battalions were involved in deals which were not in consonance with national security? And if it was, why hasn't the action been taken instead of them being redeployed? And if there wasn't none, then the bigger question arises, was the redeployment done under political pressure? Both questions are very important questions and need to be answered.
Okay, let me go across to Lieutenant General Shaukin Chauhan, sir. Thank you so much for joining me. Now, the redeployment is taking place. It's a public knowledge, and protests and press conferences are being held simultaneously. Why is there so much of anxiety in the Kuki community about the redeployment of a force, which is well within the right of the government of India to transfer them every 3 years?
Firstly, good evening, Karthik. Nice to thank you for calling me on your show. See, it's difficult to explain why it is important that a force that is already in the operations should never be moved out. The reason is the force has by now gained intelligence, has gained terrain intelligence, has gained people intelligence, has gained an idea of what is happening, and is actually fairly effective. Sometimes, Karthik, the complaints by the Meiteis were only to prove that the Assam Rifles was doing a wonderful job. It was doing it without fear, without being manipulated by the local populace, and it was not allowing a problem by either of the communities to fight with each other. And both of them had done a marvelous job. So, by nature, as a field commander, I would never like to replace my troops while they are in combat. I agree that it is the field commanders can take, or the government can decide to move a force anytime they want. Maybe they find that these Assam Rifles units have done such a fantastic job in the northeast that they needed a more sensitive area in Kashmir. Maybe that is the case. But the more important part is that during operations and while they are in contact with this very difficult very difficult situation, you move the force, which gives an absolutely wrong idea unless the government really explains as to why are you moving them.
Exactly.
Other than maybe they're required more in Kashmir and not required here so much. The second issue is that over the years, we are aware that while dealing while dealing with people, the Assam Rifles has been impartial. There is no question of partiality because the Assam Rifles is officered by the officers of the Indian Army who are known for over the last 75, 76 years for their impartiality in these very difficult counterinsurgency operations. And to then move them around and to show them is something that that actually doesn't make sense.